All right. Oh, I'm still sharing everywhere.
What is trust to us in our community? There we go. That's what we're doing today on the stream. It's gonna be so fun. Do you guys want to join in my song? Maybe that's okay if you don't.
All right.
Okay, well, welcome then. Welcome. And we got, let's do a little bit of sharing here to get this out on the YouTube. So I'm gonna send a link out to, so we need to set up a channel here and then make sure that people have common knowledge, right, for what we're doing. Streaming now, right? Announcement channel, create, and perfect. So what is trust to us, right? And if you could pull that in the channel and share that on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatnot, that would be great. I'll make sure to get that out on Bluprnt, and we'll have a little bit of a conversation here on what, with my co-builder Ben Halloran, what are we really working on. And we have a good friend of ours, Ed, who's just a real officer and a gentleman as far as getting people out there and helping them collaborate together and, let's say, saving a little sanity.
Bryant, for some reason you are quieter than the music. Your voice is quieter than the music.
Oh, well, that's probably because I need to turn the music off. Cool. So, here we go. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right, rocking.
So, a couple of days ago, you and I were talking about belief and trust.
Mm-hmm.
No. So, I'm being distracted.
Don't give me a thumbs up.
So, we were talking about belief and trust, and how they interplay, and what comes from what, and so we created this Miro board to kind of go over that. So what I think is the most important part here is the beginning, where it's like the central core of all of this is the belief, is this part right here. So the concept that trust feeds belief and belief feeds trust. And the question is, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? This is the belief or trust chicken and egg question. And what the postulate that we have come up with at this moment is that the only way to get belief, if you want someone to believe in something, there are three ways. There are only three ways. For someone to believe in something, there are only three ways for them to believe in that. They either need evidence, seeing is believing. They need to have trust, as in they have a relationship. They trust someone. They don't have any evidence, but they trust that person. So it's a relational connection. And the third one is gut instinct. They just believe it. There's no evidence. There's nobody telling them that it's the way things work. They just believe it on gut instinct. And what I really want to talk about is there a possibility? Is there some other way to that? Is there some other driver for belief?
A really interesting thing. Ed, do you feel as though you have that clear in your mind as to what we're referring to? Just to make sure that, you're basically representing the audience sort of coming in cold here.
Sure, man. Yeah, I think it's a good starting point. Definitely.
So because if they're so, I want to explore all the options to well, this is proving a negative, but to have a reasonable guess that that we have all the ways that belief works, not that it works, but the sources for belief.
So here's an interesting question, just so I have it clear in my mind. Are you putting the challenge out to us in the audience today to discuss all of the ways that people come to belief?
So yes, except with a caveat that it's not about the different ways that we come to understand what's true or understand what belief is, or not just how did we come to what we believe, but what are the sources of the things that we believe.
Well, Ed, what do you feel there, sir?
I think a lot of belief comes from within. I think when one looks critically at oneself, man in the mirror style, you can take a critical eye and see who you are as an individual, and that can help you form a hypothesis on what you're made of, and what you're made of is probably backed by some sort of belief. You could also call this your ego, if you will. Um, Even though we understand that your ego is uh, beliefs in oneself that aren't necessarily um, accurate descriptions of reality, it is a place to start for what in general what a belief can and might be. So I think internal is a good place to start for beliefs.
If I may, I'd love to parallel with that. How do you guys feel about this? Can someone believe in something if they can't believe in themselves?
I would say that is a belief. um, to anytime you make any kind of declarative statement, or in that case a question, you know, can I believe in other things if I can't believe in myself? I'm already putting out there a baseline. I don't believe in myself, which is in and of itself a belief. The
Mm.
It's like the act of non-doing, right? It's the same thing. Um, so
So what you're saying is that there's also room for basically this idea of like a baseline, where it's like, I believe this because I believe it. I don't have evidence. Nobody's told me about it. I just believe it because it's an important thing. Like I have to have this belief. Like I have to believe that I'm sane. I have to have that belief before I can build any rational thought.
yeah, think about personal bias. Um, there are many different types of personal bias, but and they're all informed by different factors. But one of my favorite personal biases to discuss is anchor bias, and it
Hmm.
is a belief that is solely informed by a previous bit of information. So if I tell you that I would like to sell you a car, and I would like to sell it to you for the price on the car is $1,000, you immediately now have an anchor bias towards the value of that car based around $1,000. No one no one told you it's worth $1,000 except me. So if then I say, now this car's on sale, I'm going to give you a 20% discount. Now I'm only going to charge you $800. Your automatic anchor bias tells you that's a good price, or that's a good deal, quote unquote, because you have that anchor in that $1,000.
Hmm.
The same thing can happen with our own beliefs. I can tell you that um, political spokesperson A, he's a really good guy. And if I tell you that long enough, you're gonna generate an anchor bias towards that individual, and it doesn't necessarily have to be based in truth. So like it's something to consider when we're talking about beliefs, and you even have to take a step backwards and think about what's informing those beliefs. Like, um, can you have a fully fleshed out conversation about beliefs and what they are without looking at how they're formed and
Hmm.
what's happening in the background? That's it's really an interesting topic.
May I take over the share for just a moment, Ben?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. So remove this window and bring up a share real quick. So this is from the stand.